New at noon, a Hannibal man is arrested following an early morning home burglary. Solomon Robinson is in the Marion County Jail this afternoon pending formal charges. HPD says shortly after 5 a.m., officers were called to a home in the 3600 block of Atoka. The residents say they were woken up by their security alarm going off. Police say that Robinson forcefully entered the home with a knife and threatened the residents. One person was able to hold Robinson until officers arrived. No one was injured. You may be heading to the polls on your lunch hour to cast your ballot. Voting in Missouri's primary election is underway. Election officials in Marion County say that you'll need to bring your ID to check in. And when you get a ballot, officials say you can expect to see all of the presidential candidates who have recently dropped out on the Democratic side. Marion County Clerk Valerie Dornberger says it was too late to change the ballot. She says that more people tend to vote for the presidential election compared to local issues. The clerk is expecting about a 20% turnout. Polls are open until 7 o'clock tonight. And Missouri voters, you may decide later this year whether you want a state military. Yesterday, House lawmakers proposed creating a new cabinet-level department containing the Missouri National Guard. The Guard currently is part of the State Department of Public Safety. Officials say the Senate is on board with the idea, but it's not a priority for Governor Mike Parson. He says he's still open to discussion. Just into the WGEM newsroom, election officials in Adams County are extending early voting hours this week as they try to urge more people to avoid the threat of coronavirus and the flu and vote early. Clerk Chuck Venverlo says today that the hours for early voting this week will be extended by an hour and a half, meaning it's now available from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. The clerk's office will also be open for early voting from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. Early voting on Monday will be normal hours, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Polls will be open for Election Day next Tuesday. Officials are urging people to vote early to reduce the spread of illness. If your kid is interested in taking more AP advanced placement courses, but you struggle to afford the cost of the exam, help may be on the way. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says the average cost for a test in Illinois is $93, an expense for some low-income families. The governor wants to add $2.5 million to his budget to help pay for the test. He says it could benefit more than 20,000 students.
Here in Illinois, no student should be held back from the opportunities that passing AP exams give them because their families can't afford the test.
And Governor Pritzker says Illinois ranks first in the country for students passing AP exams. He says more than 350,000 students scored a 3 or higher and use that toward college credit to lower the cost of tuition. New at noon, the head of the Centers for Disease Control says he is most concerned about the impact of the coronavirus on the elderly and healthcare workers. Director Robert Redfield testified today before the House Appropriations Subcommittee. Redfield says that he worries about the spread of the virus to those healthcare workers on the front lines, as well as the elderly now living in nursing homes.
One of the greatest vulnerabilities of this nation right now is nursing homes. And you know that the CMS recently upped the resources. They actually have all their inspectors now told not to worry about all the other stuff they inspect for. All they want to do is infection control, infection control, infection control. This is a critical issue.
In the state of Washington alone, there are 600 healthcare workers that have been exposed. In California, 600 have been exposed. Happening today, President Trump is set to meet with the Senate about tax cuts for those impacted by the coronavirus. The potential tax incentive could put more money in the pockets of workers affected by the virus and comes on top of the $8.3 billion spending package he approved to combat the virus. President Trump says today's meeting will involve a discussion on getting help for hourly wage earners impacted by the virus so they don't have to miss a paycheck. No claims of victor, but there is some optimism in South Korea and in China today as they see a decrease in numbers of new cases and deaths related to the coronavirus. NBC's Kelly Kobayea reports from Seoul, South Korea.
The mood here in South Korea is one of cautious optimism. Top officials suggesting that the coronavirus may have already peaked here 11 days ago on February 28th. That's when they reported new cases at more than 900 in a 24-hour period. It hasn't gotten that high since. In fact, we've seen a steady drop off since that date. Today,